Hello, everybody. We are back. Welcome, welcome, welcome. As you're coming in, give me a hello. We're going to give the system a moment. And we thank those that are coming in and joining. We're excited about our show. We have a great topic this week. Suffering in silence. Yes, suffering in silence. My. Yep. That just, it happens so often. I don't want to get right into the topic just yet. So let me give people an opportunity to join first before we actually do that. But I tell you, this year has just swept away from us. I'm like, it's the end of October. In the store, they already have the Christmas stuff. And I'm like, we haven't had our Halloween candy. We haven't had Thanksgiving. How dare you have Christmas stuff out already? At least let us get through the end of October. I know. I know. But anyway, it's coming. So let me do my due diligence and get some people in here. And then we're going to get rolling. I'm excited about what the Father is going to do this evening. Just a word that's going to go forth. And just so we can be a help and be an inspiration and a blessing to others. Quite often, so many people are suffering in silence. And, if we could just help people along the way, that's what it's about. When you conquer a thing, when you get through a thing, we're supposed to do what? Help the next person through. That's right. So those that are catching the replay, do me a favor, hashtag replay, and I want you just to fast forward about 8, 9, 10 minutes, somewhere in there. And by then we really will be rolling well into our topic. Thank you so much. All right. I'm going to keep doing here what I do. And then we're going to get to rolling. I tell you, just know that this year so much has happened, but yet, the Father has not forgotten his promise toward us. I know that's not the topic tonight, but I'm about to get into the topic tonight. The Father has not forgotten. He is going to do just what he said he would do. And we just need to hold fast to exactly his word. All right. Yes, ma'am. I will resend that to you. I'll email that again to you. I just bless God that he has not forgotten his word. He is going to do what he said he would do. And we have to continue to hold fast. We have to continue to profess our faith. We have to continue to go forward, to go strong, and to not allow the enemy to hinder us, to block us, to be disturbed, to allow fear, none of those things to keep us from doing what the Father has given us to do. Because what He's given us to do is relevant for um, the helping others, and for our next step, the overwhelm the not overwhelming, for the overflow, the doors open. My goodness. Wait 1 minute. uh yep. All right, there it is. And give me one moment. Okay. All right. I had to resend that. My apologies. And we must continue to do what the Father has given us to do. Um, he has not forsaken us. He will not leave us stranded. He will not leave us haphazardly. Ha! Hallelujah. He will do just what He said He would do. My goodness. Woo! Glory. We just have to continue on that path, remain faithful, and know that He shall come through each and every time. Holding strong to the profession, holding strong to the word, holding strong and firm. Glory. Yes. Woo! Hallelujah. Oh, it's the 10th month, 10 completion, right? I tell you, this is harvest time. This is the time, as we say, to have our basket out. This is the time that we would, as we have our basket out, and we're bringing in, but you've had to have something in, right? You would have had to have planted in order to have your basket out. So you can't do that unless you have something there. Exactly. Ooh-wee. My goodness. I just bless the Lord for what He's doing in this season. We most definitely must remain diligent. We must remain faithful, and have a ready heart. Have our ear ready to receive what He's saying, and be ready to move as He is directing us to move. Not being fearful of the shift, not being fearful of the unknown, not being fearful of, okay, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to? Don't try to figure all that out. Just go with it. Go forward. Just progress. Whew. Oh my goodness. I know we're going to get into suffering in silence. We are. I tell you. But just know that the harvest time, this is our time and season where we receive the abundance, and we shall reap. And the key is that we won't faint. The key is that we will keep our eye upon Him. The key is that we will remain faithful and steadfast, unmovable, always abound. Yes, glory, hallelujah. My goodness. I don't know about you all, but I done got myself happy here. Ooh, my. Hallelujah. I tell you, it's good evening, Nicole. Good to see you. Um, I tell you, oh, amen. All right. Here's our guest this evening. Blessings. All right. Thank you, ma'am. I know we prevailing. We gonna do it. Hey, I know how to talk now. Don't worry. I'm a preacher at heart. We can talk for 5 minutes. Don't worry about it. Don't sweat it. It's all good. God's got it. But I tell you, and I was sitting here tagging at the same time, so no worries. You didn't miss anything. Um, I'm sitting here tagging and trying to, all at the same time, doing a little intro combo. Holy Spirit moving. My goodness, that made myself happy. But I'm just ecstatic, and I was just saying that this is our time to receive. This is the harvest season. We have, the 10th month. It's about that 10 and completion. It's the time to receive, but you have to have something in the ground if you expect to receive. You can't go out looking and you haven't put any seeds in the ground. So I know I have some seed, and I'm expecting and receiving. Let me just say that I am receiving. So I just bless the Father for what He's doing in this season. I admonish you all to remain faithful, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, uh, knowing that your labor, your work, your steadfastness is not in vain. The Father's got you, and He will not leave you stranded. Um, well, my guest is here. Hallelujah. We are talking about suffering in silence. And I tell you, when the Father given me just that title itself, Suffering in Silence, it means so much, and it covers so many different areas. But this evening, we are focusing on domestic violence. This is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And I did not know when we planned this that today is the actual day for domestic violence. Is the day the awareness day, the purple day, purple Thursday. I didn't know that this was the actual day. I was like, oh, look at there. So I have on my purple. I don't know if it looks purple on the camera, but I have on my purple. And woman of God is always in purple. Yeah, she is. She is always in purple. And I tell you, I'm just blessed to have her. So I'm Dr. LaShawn. I'm the founder of Embrace the Change. And Embrace the Change, we uplift, encourage, and empower you to embrace your change. Thank you for joining Shifting Mindset Sets live show. On this show, we have conversations that will unlock, break open these stuck mindsets. Good evening, Vonnie, my sister. And so we are getting into the suffering in silence. And I tell you, I have the woman of God here who is, I would call her just the extraordinaire, the one that knows about. I know she give me that eye. Oh my goodness, the one that knows about domestic violence. Um, far more than what the little corner I know about it. She really knows about the domestic violence in a greater depth. Let me put it to that realm. Um, and she is the, let me see, Angels in Distress. Is my memory working tonight? Angels in Distress. Oh, she gave me a head nod. Angels in Distress. She is the founder of that. She also has a book. She will share about that later. And I bring to you, give us a hello. Let me unmute your mic. Oh, okay. You muted yourself, so you're going to have to unmute your mic. All right.
Good evening. How are you doing, Dr. LaShawn?
I'm well. Thank you.
Thank you for having me again. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. All right. Thank you so much. Hey, Becky. All my sisters are coming on. Bless you all. Um, as I was saying, suffering in silence is such a grand, broad topic. And I use that just for a lot of different areas. But this evening we're diving into domestic violence. And I didn't know that today was Purple Thursday when we planned this date. That this was the actual domestic violence day.
You
So I
know,
went,
God makes us laugh. He makes us smile. So
yes,
perfect.
yes. I had to go back and put a hashtag Purple Thursday
Yes,
in the
yes,
comments in the
yes.
summary. I was like, oh wow. And I just think about when a lot of people say domestic violence, they think about um, you know being put um, hitting and abuse, and well, it is abuse, but like being burned,
Hmm.
thrown out the window. But there's so many other gamuts of abuse. And I don't know what you have prepared for this evening, but let me just open the floor to you first to let you go your route.
Well, I just want to say first off, again, thank you for this opportunity to speak on your platform, Dr. LaShawn. I really appreciate it. And to find that it was scheduled on Purple Day, I just kind of, I'm like, okay, Father, thank you. That's a God wink, right? And domestic violence awareness has become, I don't want to use the term muffled in a sense, but there's so much going on in the month of October.
Mm-hmm.
And we are so aware of Breast Cancer Awareness Month for the month of October as well. And then you have Alzheimer's. You have all of these different things that are going on in the month of October. And it's important that we push the information and to push the awareness that domestic violence is recognized in this month as well.
Mm-hmm.
However, the sad part about that is that it is an epidemic every day,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
And that is why I have committed my life to my divine assignment. It wasn't my assignment, it was a divine assignment, to educate wherever, whenever, and however I can. So when a platform like yours is open to me, I am humbled. And I really do appreciate the opportunity to speak to your followers on your platform. And speaking of suffering in silence, we know that there are so many people who are suffering in silence because they don't want anybody to know.
Yeah.
I did. I was the domestic violence instructor. I didn't want anyone to know I was being abused because I'm
Wow.
teaching people about abuse, right?
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, that dispels a big myth. It can happen to anyone. And that's what keep people in silence a lot of times is the shame of it all. That it has happened to them and how did it happen to them and why did it happen to them. But the
Mm-hmm.
first thing I want, your guests to understand is that it's not your fault. It
Yes.
is not your fault that you were
Mm-hmm.
being abused. It is not your fault. Um, I had a conversation earlier today with a young lady, and you don't often hear people be able to acknowledge and agree that abuse is a demonic spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, yes, it's absolutely a demon. And before I could get it out of my mouth, I'm like, oh God, thank you. Somebody's getting it. And
Mm-hmm.
until we address it from that angle,
Mm-hmm.
the news is going to continue to be highlights and breaking news.
Yes. Now that was key right there. What you just said about it being a demonic force. And it really is. A lot of people just, don't want to acknowledge that. I've seen it in different aspects, and it's almost like that you see that person transform,
Yes.
and it's like, oh my goodness,
Yes.
that was an, oh wow.
And
Yeah.
I think that's the part that people are taken aback by, because you
Mm-hmm.
see it. You can literally see it take over, shall we
Mm-hmm.
say.
Yes.
Because they often say, well, they didn't look like themselves. They didn't sound like themselves. Well, of
Mm-hmm.
course not, because they were taken over by the demonic possession that's there. And I know that you understand it
Mm-hmm.
because of your spiritual maturity, but we have, people who are out here dealing with it who do not understand that aspect of it. And you don't find many people who are bringing that to the forefront, that this is what we're actually dealing with.
This is so true. Now, one area I don't think we really address it is it in the church or a part of the ministry. Oh, don't throw your laptop. Is that your laptop on your lap? Put your laptop down. She done got her tea, y'all. She done got her tea. Oh, we don't talk about domestic violence in the church.
Whew, okay. I had to sip my tea on that because I
I
didn't want to
know.
say nothing out of order.
I know. Sip your tea.
Dr.
Go ahead.
LaShawn
Amen.
is running rampant in the church.
Yes.
Uh, is running rampant in the church because a lot of times the leaders are abusers themselves. A lot of times the spirit of Jezebel is operating within the administrative positions of the church. And it's unfortunate that you come to church looking and hoping for an answer, and they send you back home to be abused and to be violated again. As
That's the
if
hard
it's
part.
as if it's like falling down, skinning your knee. It'll get better. No, it will not get better. It will not scab over and get better and heal. That is not how domestic violence operates. It continues to grow, grow, and grow in its intensity. And I've reached out to churches
Mm-hmm.
on several occasions,
Mm-hmm.
and to just provide workshops, no charge,
Mm-hmm.
just free, just to educate your congregants. And
Yes.
you get no real response.
Mm.
You may get a dance around. You may even be deflected to where, we talk about relationships, in the singles, but they don't talk about domestic violence.
Mm-mm.
They talk
It's
about the
different.
relationships to get married, but they don't
Mm-hmm.
talk about you being beat up, before you get married or after you get married, after you are supposedly submitted to your spouse. Now,
Mm-hmm.
when I talk about domestic violence and domestic abuse, I'm talking about men and women. I'm not just
Yes.
talking about women,
Right.
because men are abused as well.
That's right.
And we we know, I can say I know personally, where people have come to church Sunday after Sunday looking for a word, if you will, from God on what to do about their abusive spouse. They go to leadership,
Mm-hmm.
they ask for prayer, but faith is what? Dead without what? So you have to do something when it comes to that. And going
Yes.
home, having a prayer is fine because you want to pray and ask God for instructions and guidance. But going home and sitting in it is not going to help you. It's
No.
not going to help you.
No. It actually makes it worse. It's tough. And I too have witnessed that. Had ministered to an elder years ago. Um, he had called in confidence and, reached out, needed some counsel. And it's tough. It really is.
It
And that's
is.
the reason I brought up about the abuse in church. And the the part that's disheartening is that we know it's there,
Mm-hmm.
and but those of us that have the awareness, how do we then get how do we then help those in that position? And that's been the piece that's the struggle. That's the piece that's hard.
Talk about it whenever, however you can.
Mhm.
Plant a seed. You know, uh, I do believe that as long as we're talking about it in some way, somehow, that seed will grow. But it has to be talked about, and when especially when you're aware of it, a lot of times people who may be in an abusive relationship, if they talk to somebody about it, they don't know if they can trust that somebody about it, because it's it carries such a stigma
Yeah.
that they don't want, in a sense, their information out there in those streets, as they say. Well, when it blows up, it's going to be in the streets, the news, and everywhere else, right?
Mhm.
But what we can do as individuals, particularly if we pick it up in the spirit, if we literally know about it, you can listen. You can just let them know you have a listening ear for them. You can give them a pamphlet, or you can slide them a website, or you can tell them about broadcasts and things that are out there where they can gain uh, the information that they need to uh, make a conscious decision to even understand if they're in an abusive relationship, because you have a lot of people who are in abusive relationships and they don't even realize that they're being abused. They think they're being
Yeah.
submitted unto God and the
Yes.
husband.
Mhm. Yes, that part. We have one person on here that says she's a domestic violence survivor. Thank you for sharing. And we bless God that you are a survivor.
Yes,
Um,
indeed.
we bless God for that. I know one person, I may have shared this story before, that her sister was in a relationship, and her boyfriend threw some gasoline or something on her and set her afire, and she ended up passing away. But it's really tough, um, knowing the signs, knowing now I'm seeing that there are some hand signals that you can do, women can do.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a lot of different things you can do. Um, being knowing, but some are afraid, so that's why I keep saying, the suffering in silence, because the fear, because of the dominance, not
Yes.
wanting to come, say anything, because that's one more retaliation, that's one more, mark against you. And how do we, it's life or death for some. Go ahead, woman of God.
One, I mean, no, you're right. You're absolutely correct. And one of the most dangerous times for a victim of domestic violence is when they leave. And
Yes.
when you think about what domestic violence is really rooted in, it's about power and control.
Mm-hmm.
So when the victim does decide to leave, then
Mm-hmm.
I mean this demon is really agitated because you've taken that power and control away from them.
Mm-hmm.
and they weren't anticipating that you had that strength to do so.
Yeah.
So it really irritates them,
Mhm.
because during the course of the relationship, they have worked so hard on beating you down in the spirit and in your spirit, man, to have you feel like no one else will want you, no one else will believe you, because they've been gaslighting you, making you look like you're crazy,
Mhm.
because of all of the deceit, because of the revolving door that you're continually going through, from the honeymoon phase to the build up phase to the volatile phase back to the honeymoon. So you've been on this roller coaster, and you've had all of these emotions going on within yourself
Mhm.
that they have been working to break down. That, so how did they get out of this? How did they find the strength? Because I have been doing my due diligence to try and destroy them spiritually. And
Mhm.
that's the part that is not addressed either, is that you have to work on the spirit man of a person who has been in an abusive relationship, because that's the core of who they are.
Yes.
So when they leave, that demon is really angry,
Mhm.
because they have been chipping, chipping, chipping away the whole time to try and just minimize who that individual is or were.
Yeah. And that's a time when that person needs to be built up. Needs to be in the right company, a person assigned to them to help build them up, know how to pour back into them, um, assess where they're at, all the things that you said, but to build all of those back up.
You know, we, what's amazing to me though, is that we have so many organizations that are available with
Hmm.
services, but no one offers services to tap into the spirit, man. I haven't found one.
Oh,
And if there's one out there, please let me know. Please let me know. I haven't found one.
now say that again. An organization that taps
We
into where?
have all of the organizations that we have out there. There are
Mm-hmm.
very many
Mm-hmm.
organizations who provide services for victims of domestic violence. But I haven't found one that deal with the spirit man, of restoring the spirit man in a victim.
Mm.
I don't know if I shared this the last time on
I
your
hear
show.
opportunity right there, but go ahead.
Exactly.
I hear
Uh,
opportunity.
I know, and but it's not that easy, and I'm getting ready to tell you why.
Okay.
I was volunteering in a shelter, and the young lady, after she interviewed me, she said, "Oh my God, you'll just be perfect for this." And so I was doing a presentation, sharing my
Mm-hmm.
story now, not
Mm-hmm.
anyone else's.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to give God the glory, because that's who saved me. That's who helped me. Okay.
Amen.
And she said, "Oh, Miss Deadwyler, you can't talk about Jesus and God or any type of religion, because we have so many different faiths." I said, "So let me help you right there. If
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you my story to give God the glory, who strategically told me how to get out, then I'm not the right person for you, because I'm not going to leave him out of my story." I said,
Right.
"And secondly, I don't care what faiths you have in here, their spirit man is what is believing in that faith. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what I'm trying to reach, is their
Mm-hmm.
spirit man, to help restore their spirit man." And she kind of
Mm-hmm.
looked at me like, "Wow," because I know you aren't thinking about that,
Right.
because you're keeping them separated from the core of what's been broken in them.
Mm-hmm.
Housing classes, financial classes, budgeting classes, homekeeping
Mm.
classes, cooking classes. Uh, all of those are great. Professional dressing classes, how to interview, all of those are great. But what about their spirit, man?
The spirit
Because if it's
man.
not restored, they're going to walk out of the door from this amazing program you have and what? End up in another relationship where they'll be abused
Mm-hmm.
again and hopefully it could
All
take their
over
life.
again.
Yeah.
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 Until that's repaired, until that's dealt
Absolutely.
with, until that's fixed,
Absolutely.
then you'll repeat that cycle.
Absolutely.
And that's just not for domestic violence. That
No.
that's for a lot of other
No.
things as well.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And
Whether it
I'm sorry. No, go ahead. I'm
whether it whether it's now I'm dealing with my suffering in silence. So whether you would have this void in your life, I know you know me by now. That other you got this void in your life, or you feel like you
yes,
in this
Lord.
slump, whatever it is, you will continue
Yes.
to do the same thing. How come I keep dating the same lady? How come I keep dating the same type of guy? Because you haven't fixed that inner core. You haven't fixed the
There it
spirit
is.
man. You
There it
haven't
is.
fixed it.
And what is the thing that you hear in church all the time? Test the spirit by the spirit, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That spirit tests your spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. That demon tests your spirit
Mm-hmm.
to see how much it can get away with.
Yep. This is true. This is true. I
And
like what
when you get to,
Bonnie has. Go ahead.
what would Bunny? No, no. Let's see what Bunny. You said Bunny.
Bonnie said here, she's heard that from many people that have been victims. They all say to get help spiritually to heal, or you will go back to a familiar spirit.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's why you keep meeting those same people because that spirit is testing your broken spirit, which you
Ah.
haven't worked on to heal.
Mm.
And oh Father, don't, oh Lord, I don't want to go down this.
I don't know why you be trying not to, but go ahead.
Oh Lord, uh, you clean yourself up, so you think you clean your house.
Mm-hmm.
So this demon is mad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you have restored yourself somewhat. It's going to come back and it will possibly send you through another test. But when you're healed, when you're whole, you can see it coming a mile away.
Yes.
You can feel it. And that's when you know that you're healed because you will see it, you will hear it, and sometimes you can smell it. That's a real thing.
Yes. I was gonna say that.
That's a real thing.
You
That's
can.
a real thing. You can
Mm-hmm.
smell it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get to that place of being in assurance
Mm-hmm.
that God has healed you and you have taken the steps, and here is another thing I want victims of domestic violence to understand: healing is not for the weak.
Mm.
Let me repeat that:
Mm-hmm.
healing is not for the weak,
Healing is not for the weak.
because you are going to have to work and you're going to have to confront some things that you've probably been avoiding a very long
Mm-hmm.
time in your life.
Yeah.
You're going to have to look at some things, learn from within.
Dealing with those coming face to face and putting that work in, and it's just like you said, right? You it's not going to go anywhere now, because now that person is out the way, and it's like, okay, what do I do now? And to get to the fullness of your healing, you have to. And you'll look at it and you like, well, okay, you halfway deal with it. Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
know. Yeah, I know. And put it down. And then it'll come back. Yeah, I know. And you deal with it a little more. And
Yeah.
so on until finally you actually process it, deal with it, break it down. And whether that's cry, scream, I don't know, go throw some baseballs, whatever you have to do.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Kick rocks, I don't know, do something,
Yeah.
get it out. And then when you do and actually deal with it, now that breaking process has happened. Now the deliverance can take place and
Yes. Yes.
then
Yes. And,
healing
and
can
and even
truly
as you're
happen.
going through that, as you're kicking your rocks, as you're screaming, as you're, doing whatever it is, dealing with two or three of them at a time, whatever your process is, whatever you need for you. This is
Mm-hmm.
personal. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So don't let anyone outside of you tell you what you must do. You do what you
Yes.
need to do
Mm-hmm.
because everyone is different. Although our trauma may be similar, they are not the same.
Right.
You know, just because you've been in an abusive relationship, it doesn't mean that yours was the same as mine or mine
Mm-hmm.
the same as Bunny's or whoever who may have been in one. So
Mm-hmm.
you need to do what's best for you and understand
Yes.
that it's going to hurt
Mm-hmm.
because you're going to have to make some acknowledgments of your contribution to that ugly environment that you were subjected to. I know
Mm-hmm.
it was hard for me because at the very beginning, the first time the person took me, my whole body shook like an earthquake. And that was that demonic spirit touching my spirit and my spirit. And I didn't have sense enough to know that I needed to run right then and there,
Mm-hmm.
opposed to just putting it off and saying, oh, I hadn't dated in a very long time and now my son's going off to college. So, now it's my turn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was my turn for hell.
Mm.
So,
Wow.
we have to acknowledge those things
Yes.
that that were those big old red flags that we didn't pay attention to
Yes.
because people always say, well, they were just great, they were great, and then the day we got married, they turned into Dr. Jekyll. They were Mr. Hyde, but they turned into Dr. Jekyll. I'm like, no,
Mm-mm.
trust me,
There were
trust me,
flags.
they were there before you
Mm-hmm.
got married.
Yes.
Getting married was a distraction
Yes.
because see now you fantasizing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And what I found with that is a lot of times, so the flags were there, but what a lot of people will do is make an excuse for the flag.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we'll make an excuse, or have had made an excuse for the flag, and just like, oh well, and blow it off. And that's a straight up red is red. This is not red, but as red as red can be. It's red as red can
Because we want to be in a relationship.
want to be.
We
And
want to
it's
be like the
not,
others. We want to be
and I
like the
tell you,
others, but we don't know if they're being swung around a room either. Because, they're coming outside making it look like it's just, mwah. So sweet, so fabulous.
I
And they
tell
could
you
be
that
in hell too.
just as much, just as
And I
much.
mean, we all make the mistake because of our heart space.
Mm-hmm.
We were designed to be in relationships. We were designed for that. But I still tell anyone who's in the church, out of the church, don't want to go to church, left the church, I don't care who it is, there's nowhere under the definition of love where someone is supposed to abuse you.
Right.
Those two do not go together. They're like oil and water, they do not mix.
That's right. That's right. And also want to lift up the um, emotional piece of this,
Oh,
where there there has also that is considered abuse. Now, a lot of people would like to, thumb it down, but that manipulation and control and the emotional piece, um, not physically hitting
yeah.
or slashing your tires or locking
Mm-hmm.
you in the room, but
Mm-hmm.
that overlord spirit is so strong and so heavy that they might as well lock you in the room because go ahead.
Emotional abuse is the glue that holds it all together.
Mhm.
You know, this woman shared with me once she understood what abuse looked like. She
Mhm.
said, "Oh my God, I didn't even realize I was being abused." I mean, but her situation was terrible. It was everything but a hit.
Wow.
Everything but a hit. Okay,
Mhm.
uh, words can kill you.
Mhm.
Words can kill you. They kill your mind, your body, and your spirit. And she was so emotionally um, removed, shall we say,
Mhm.
because she had been beat down so bad, verbally, mentally, psychologically, with the gaslighting, the games played on her, playing like she was crazy, had her people thinking that she was crazy. That, I mean, she was just
Mhm.
emotionally spent,
Mhm.
which leads to what? Nervous breakdown.
Yes.
But you have no proof because you haven't been documenting or you haven't been talking to anyone,
Haven't been
and now
telling
here you
nobody.
are, you just broken. And
Mhm.
then people are asking, well, what made her have a nervous breakdown? What
Mhm.
made
What's
him
going
have a
on?
nervous breakdown like that?
Mhm.
Because they're
Thought they
just
was fine. Thought they was happy, right?
mm-mm, mm-mm,
That was a
mm-mm.
facade.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we're oh, and think about in today's time, excuse me, as we are
Mhm.
in social media.
Mhm.
You know, I heard this brother say the other day, nobody's really posting when they're going through hell or when they're going through depression or when they don't want to get out of bed. They aren't posting those pictures to you. They aren't posting those pictures when they got dishes in the sink or the house is not clean. They aren't posting any of those things on social media. Every time they post something, it looks fabulous. But they aren't posting the everyday stuff. So
Right.
social media is so pushed in our face, just pushed in our face, that yeah, this is the way life is. And I even think about how social media with the filters. I don't appreciate filters. I don't
Mm.
use them, okay?
Mhm.
Because they're even trying to get you to change your image from who you actually are to
Come
look
on.
like something that they have put in place for you to look like you are,
Yes.
which adds to the layers if you're in an abusive relationship.
Yes. Come on. Mhm.
And see,
Yes.
people don't just readily think about those things.
Mhm.
Still has you hiding
Mhm.
because you can come out here and make it look like, That face is what the young people say. That face is beat,
Oh yeah.
you know, and the rest of your body can be black and blue.
Be beat too.
Yeah, beaten literally.
Mm-hmm. But it's covered. Yeah, you won't know. Mm-hmm.
I was talking to a young man the other day, excuse me, and
Mm-hmm.
we were talking about, domestic violence month. And he said, Miss Deadwyler, he said, these people out here in these streets, they want those toxic relationships. And I asked him, I said, are you serious? He said, yeah, a lot of people, they want the toxic relationship.
Mm.
And I thought, how sad is that? But for
Mm.
you to want a toxic relationship also shows that you've been exposed to toxicity.
I was getting ready to go there. Mm-hmm.
And that's not normal.
It's not.
That is not the way it's supposed to be.
It's not.
Here again, none of that which is in a toxic relationship is under the definition of what love is supposed to look like.
Mm-hmm. So, what are the chances that you were grew up in a toxic home or have seen it that you then later on enter into a toxic relationship?
It's learned behavior. And there are two things that happen. You either become an abuser or you don't want to become an abuser and can be subjected to being abused
Mm-hmm.
because you don't want to be like the other. But for those who are in an environment where they've learned that behavior pattern to be supposed normal, don't know any better.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly if it started early in their life, right?
Right.
I mean, it's if it's every day, then that's the way their everyday life is. So when they grow up and they come out into the world of being other relationships, they're going to handle it the way that if they saw it handled in their home space.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're wondering what's wrong with them. What's wrong with what's wrong with her? What's wrong with him?
That was their definition of what love looked like.
Yeah. But you also didn't ask the right questions at the beginning of that relationship either, which
What
is a
was that?
very important one.
Give it to me.
What was your growing up like?
Mm-hmm.
What were your parents like with each other? Did you all hug in your family? Did you all kiss in your family?
Mm-hmm.
Did you all show affection in your family?
Mm-hmm.
How did you all handle conflict? Did you all sit down and discuss it and talk about it and come up with some ways to resolve your conflicts? Or did you throw things and fight? Or were you petty? Or were you revengeful? These are hard questions you're going to need to ask.
Yes.
And you'll be able to watch whether they're comfortable in asking or whether they're uncomfortable in asking. Read
Yeah.
the body language. It's speaking loud and clear, right?
I don't know if y'all heard that, but read the body language
Absolutely.
when you
Absolutely.
when you asking those questions. Those are some great questions to ask
Mm-hmm.
if you're um, considering getting into a relationship with the person. Ask about how did they grow up with their
Mm-hmm.
family and that type of relationship with the family. That will give you so much right there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And these are things you need to cover before you become emotionally involved with that person,
Yes.
you know? Because once you become emotionally involved, you don't think right
Mm-hmm.
because you're not being logical. You're being
Mm-hmm.
emotional.
Mm-hmm.
And being emotional does not you make a conscious decision.
Right.
Just doesn't happen
Mm-hmm.
because they're in conflict with each other,
Yes.
which is
Exactly.
within yourself. And it's even harder when you're fighting against yourself.
Oh, wow. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Most
Mm-hmm.
definitely. Wow. I tell you
So
all.
we must talk about it. We must continue to push the agenda to educate people regarding it. By no means are domestic violence advocates and facilitators wanting you not to have a relationship. We want you to have a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
We want you to have a healthy relationship,
Yes.
not a hellacious relationship.
Right.
And until you get to a place to understand the difference, a healthy relationship will feel uncomfortable to you
Yeah. Wow. Mm-hmm.
because you've been so used to the chaos.
So used to it.
Mm-hmm. I heard a woman say one time, I'd rather have a piece of man than no man at all.
Mm.
And I thought, you poor soul,
Wow.
you poor soul. Because you know what she said? She didn't deserve the whole.
Mm-hmm.
And why did she feel that way? That she didn't deserve the better.
Mm-hmm. Because of what she had been through,
Mm-hmm.
experienced. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yep.
But having a piece of one was not going to help her.
It wasn't gonna fix it.
No, no. You know, people say they want a relationship 50 and 50. I don't want a 50-50 relationship. If it can't be 100% in, I don't want it.
Right.
I'm doing 50 by myself.
I was gonna say, now hold up. I can do 50 right here. I got 50. I got my own 100.
Exactly.
I got my own 100.
So, no,
Yeah.
no. You
Uh-uh.
deserve the whole, healed, healthy relationship that's defined under love. You deserve that
Yes.
and nothing less.
I want to read this comment before we wrap up. Um, Bonnie says, uh, my father is a child psychologist, and he wanted the church to include these type of things in marriage counseling, and the church didn't want it. He came from abuse and saw how you pick spouses based on healing and not healing from it. Yeah,
Absolutely. And
that's
and you
good,
know
Bonnie.
another
Yeah.
thing with that? I feel like before marriage counseling, there should be pre-engagement counseling
Yes.
because there have been so many people who have gone to marriage counseling, and those people who counseled them saw some of those red flags and then still signed off on them to go and get married.
Can we do a pre-check?
So you could, but see, this is the part that people need to also grasp. If you find out these things before,
Mm-hmm.
that's allowing both of you to gain information about each other
Mm-hmm.
that will help you make a conscious decision. Just because you like them doesn't mean you should marry them.
Right.
Just because you think you love them doesn't mean you should be with them.
Mm-hmm.
And if these things are here or shared before, so that you can see and make a conscious decision about what your choice is going to be, then I think
Mm-hmm.
that would be more fair, more genuine than having them in pre-marriage counseling, because now they're setting up rings, they're setting up dresses, they're setting up no, you need to
Mm-mm.
do pre-engagement counseling.
Yes. Yes. But let's
I
see if
really,
you
I'm adamant
fit
about
counseling. Oh, I'm with you
I'm,
on that.
I'm really serious about that.
I'm serious too. Let's see if you fit counseling.
Thank you.
That's what I want to call it.
Thank you.
I'm serious. I
And it's okay. It's not to make you look bad or the other
mm-mm,
person look bad.
mm-mm.
Oh wow, we never talked about anything like this. Exactly.
Right?
That's why we're here, because we need to.
Yes.
Because most people are caught up when it comes to marriage about the dress and the wedding day.
It's so much more. That's like a
It is
vapor.
not about the big party. It's not about
Mm-mm.
the big party. It's not about you spending all that unnecessary money
Come on.
to show off. It's about you all coming together as a unit to be healthy, well, and hopefully wise in the decision that you made for the rest of your lives.
Yes. I had a young lady approach me. This was quite a few years ago. Had done some counseling with her. I'm also licensed and ordained minister as well. And she had asked would I marry her and her fiance. And because I knew the red flags and, tried to talk, do some counseling regarding that, and there was no change, I didn't feel right in my spirit to marry them, and I declined. I just know in good conscience I couldn't, but I don't know how many other ministers. Not saying some don't,
Mm-hmm.
but how many others would do that as well.
I know someone who did, and they knew that they shouldn't have gotten married. And I thought, you really did a disservice not only to that man and that woman, but you did that before God. How could you
Hmm.
do that? And you knew that wasn't a good match, that either of them weren't good mates for each other. How could you do that? And I share that to say to you, thank you very much, because I I know for a fact that that has been happening in the church, and you have all of this heartbreak and stuff come afterwards, sometimes even death,
Hmm.
uh, because you know you just gonna go along to get along or whatever it is, or just give them what they wanted when you saw that they needed other things to heal their spirit
Yes.
aside getting married, you know,
Hmm.
because two two broken halves does not a whole make.
No, it does not.
No,
Mm-mm.
no,
It does not.
no. And when I came on the other side of my book, I was so grateful that God brought me all the way back to see where that door had been opened in my life,
Mm.
and the steps that I needed to take to heal, and not only heal, but my goal in writing my book was to help cut the generational curse off of my children, my grandchildren, and my great grandchildren, and the ones to come,
Yes.
to break that off of my bloodline.
Hmm.
And you have to gut it out. at the
Yes.
root. So you got to go
Mhm.
back to the root and gut it out.
That's right. Most definitely.
And so many people would tell you, even the young lady with whom I was speaking to today, she was like, "Yeah, my daddy, my daddy mistreated my mom, and his daddy mistreated my grandma." You see what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
so it's that learned behavior that just keeps going.
Keeps
So if you
going.
learn the bad side, you can learn the good side,
Yes. Mhm.
but it has to be implemented. Yes,
Yes.
has
Most
to be
definitely.
presented, and one has to be educated.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And those that are the survivors now take that stand. And just as you pointed out, um, break, destroy those uh, generational curses from the root,
Yes, yes,
and then everything after shall be blessed, and it will not continue. It will
yes,
not continue. And then we also then be the
yes,
advocates for those and for others. I mentioned about, how do we then get this to the church? And I love your response that, well, we may not get it to the leaders, but we can yet still get it to in the hands of those who need it. And
absolutely.
just, in the everyday walk, those that you come around. And one thing for sure, if you've been in that type of abuse before, you'll recognize it. And the spirit will let you know, and the
Yes.
Father give you that one word to say to that person, or give them a hug or squeeze the hand, or whatever it is you're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to do to encourage
Mm-hmm.
that person, or
Mm-hmm.
be that help. um, and one thing I always say is, we all need that one person, at least one person, that you can confine in, and that'll definitely help be with you during and through your process as you getting, going, walking it out, as you say, getting that deliverance. um, Someone that you can definitely trust. And because as you're being delivered, going through, because you can't keep picking it up and putting it down. At some point you're going to have to deal with it.
Yes.
And you have your book ready. You got your
Oh,
book. You
oh
got your
yeah.
book before we sign off.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. Uh,
And I just wanted to just say, I thank everyone who has commented and given input to this. Um, what a great topic, suffering in silence. And we focused on domestic violence. Today is Purple Thursday, Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Didn't know that today was Purple Thursday. I have on my purple. I don't know if it looks like purple, but I got on my purple
yes.
as well.
Yes.
And uh, Janie, please show us your book.
Can you see it?
I was gonna say you might have to take it out of the
Okay. So,
pack so we
I
can
just want
see
to
it.
let your viewers know that
Hmm.
uh,
Is it on
it's
Amazon?
it's at a it's at an incredibly reduced price right now. The Metamorphosis of a Caterpillar. All butterflies aren't free
Wait a
on
minute, you
Amazon.
said that too fast now.
Oh, I'm
Slow
sorry.
down.
The Metamorphosis of a Caterpillar. All butterflies aren't free. It's my
Metamorphosis of a butterfly.
all
All caterpillar.
Metamorphosis of a Caterpillar.
Metamorphosis of a caterpillar.
All butterflies aren't free.
All butterflies aren't.
Yes,
Ooh, that's deep.
yes. And it is my journey, uh, surviving abuse and coming on to the other side of victory.
Let's
And
see.
right
Hold on.
now on Amazon, it's only $10.99. It's a
That's a
45%
steal.
discount from $19.99. So I thought it was so cool that it went down to $10 pretty much for the month of October. This book is great for youth ministry. This book is great for teen groups, girl groups, book clubs. It's a tool for you to be able to relate to and see how domestic abuse or domestic violence may have shown up in your life, and give you a sense of understanding of why you may have been meeting those types of spirits. So it talks about my journey, and I would love for you guys to go grab your copy from Amazon, um, but you will not get the nice little uh, bag from Amazon, because I usually sign them. I hand sign them when they're purchased directly from me. But I want to also ask your guests to follow me on Clubhouse if you do. Angels in Distress Network. I'm there. Also, Victory Lee and Angels in Distress on Facebook as well, and Janie Deadwyler, and I am Victory with two Y's, Victoria's Intervention, carefully training on restoring yourself. Yes. Thank you, Dr. LaShawn. Thank you very much.
Hey man, hold your book up again so that we can just see what the front looks like. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay. Yes. All right. All right. Want to make sure everybody at least can see that cover. Okay. Thank you. So we can know to rem- remember what it looks like. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you joining again. And I look forward to our next opportunity to connect. Thank you all for joining us for Shifting Mindsets Live show. I am Dr. LaShawn, and until our next show, um, we have another lineup. I don't want to start giving wrong dates, so I will wait and send the information out. Thank you for joining, and until next time.